weekend, and that is PSG with more silverware to add to the cabinet. And the second of their UEFA Super Cup titles. They're the 12th club to win multiple UEFA Super Cup titles on the list there, with the likes of Real Madrid and Milan. We welcome in Don Hutchison now to talk more about what we saw today. Don, what did you make of that game?
I thought it was a good game. I thought the youngsters for Villa were outstanding. I thought Hemmings was really, really good. Maggio looks like a real promising player at 17. He's got something about him. He's physical. As you said, he put himself in some really good positions, scored a really hard goal, as Ali said. But, you know, you look at this PSG side and they've just got class. They're not even at full speed. It's probably a pre-season game for them. I thought Kvaratskhelia, on and off the ball, was the best player on the pitch. And then when you start bringing the likes of Dembele off the bench and you start making changes and the squad just never seems to get weakened when, you know, the coach makes changes. I thought it was a pretty routine performance from PSG, even though Villa had probably a good 15-minute spell just before half-time.
PSG. Are we going to see a lot more of what we saw in Europe last year from them this year? Do you think, Ali, are the signs there?
Yeah, and I guess the question that we could ask of PSG is, can they get off to a better start than what they have in years past? And that, I think it's something that Luis Enrique has stressed in his press conferences, talking about how do you motivate a team that has achieved so much, and yet you need to get their interest up, and then you need to get their intensity and urgency up in the start of the season. And I must say, I agree with Don in the sense that it felt like a preseason match for PSG, while it didn't for Aston Villa. It felt like for Aston Villa it was a competitive match, whereas for PSG it's like, well, I guess we sort of have to be here, so if we're going to be here, then we might as well win this. When they sped up the possession, or they sped up the game, or they decided to go on the attack with numbers, so they decided that now they're about to create, it seemed like they were at a different level than Aston Villa. But for the most part, it felt like they were just comfortable with the possession of the ball. They were comfortable with, you know what, let's just take the game into the attacking half. Let's not allow Aston Villa to build any sort of momentum. Aston Villa did have chances. Hemmings should have scored right after Desiree Doué scored the second goal. There was a chance for Hemmings in which he hits it straight at Safonov. But for PSG, it just feels like there's so much more that they can give, and still they're good enough to win.
Yeah, we know that they are the team to beat in Europe. That's what we've seen over the last two seasons. When it comes to if you're on to Champions League and you go to win a third straight, this is the list of three-peats so far. Real Madrid in it, of course, the last team to do it, but the rest of the teams who've been able to and who haven't been able to, can PSG join the yeses on that list this season, Stevie?
Please tell me who is going to knock them off the perch. At the end of the day, we saw again today what this team's capable of whenever they want to change gear, which is what they did. Yes, if you're Villa, you can talk about the chances you had and the chances you missed and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, at times when they wanted to, as Ali said, PSG are on a different planet. They really are. The way they play the ball, the way they pass the ball, the movement, the individual skills that they have with different players. I mean, they have a little bit of everything. You know, if you want to be critical, yes, they give a lot of chances away. But you know what? At the end of the day, whenever they're in the mood and whenever they're ready to, they just create and score goals for fun. So, again, to answer your question, please tell me who's going to knock them off the perch, because I don't see anybody knocking them off the perch.
Yeah, same question for you, Don.
Well, there's a few contenders. I mean, Arsenal took them to penalties last year. I think Real Madrid will be stronger this year. I think Barca have been in and around it for the last couple of seasons. I agree with the lads, though. I think if you micro-analyse it and you look at the teams that are getting closer, Bayern seem to be back. I think the best version of PSG beats them all. But the Champions League's a competition where, you know, I've seen Real Madrid win it, you know, so many years on the spin, but a couple of those years, they were gone in about the quarterfinals, but they had a moment to get them through. The Man City game comes to mind. I think Chelsea had them beaten in the same competition, same year. I think PSG had them beaten, but, you know, they found a way, Real Madrid, that year, just to find moments in the game later on to win it. So I think the teams are getting closer. I think there's some serious contenders, the two Spanish sides and one or two English sides, but if they're all playing to their maximum, I think PSG are still the best side.